If you're listening right now, chances are you know exactly what we're talking about today. That unique, really agonizing frustration of neuropathy, especially the kind that grabs hold of your feet and legs. It leaves you feeling, well, pretty isolated and just in constant pain. You know the feeling all too well, don't you? That burning at 3 a.m. that makes even bed sheets feel like, I don't know, sandpaper, or the sharp pains when you just try to stand up. And then there's the numbness, that creepy feeling where you're not even sure where the floor is beneath you. And maybe the worst part, the runaround you get. Trying pills for, well, other things entirely. Sticky creams that don't do much. Maybe even costly physical therapy. Only to hear doctors say something like, well, you just need to learn to manage it. Manage stepping on what feels like broken glass. Yeah, right. That feeling, that helplessness, like there's nothing really left that can help, that's what we're diving into today. We've dug through the sources, and our mission is pretty clear. We want to cut through the confusion, really understand what's actually going wrong inside with those nerves, and look at a well-proven medical technology that's finally something you can use at home. Okay, let's unpack this. Let's find out why that traditional advice just hasn't worked for so many people.
Right. And to really fight this, we need to understand it simply. Let's just forget all the complicated medical terms for a minute. Think about the nerves going down to your feet, like long electrical wires, or maybe like fiber optic cables carrying messages through your body. Now, when those wires are healthy, the signals are crystal clear, right? They go straight to the brain. You feel the soft carpet. You know exactly when your shoe feels a bit tight. But neuropathy, that happens when those wires get damaged, frayed, you could say. Often it's from things like, years of high blood sugar, maybe poor circulation, or sometimes just the wear and tear of aging. And when they're damaged, the signals get totally scrambled. It's like static on the line. So instead of an accurate report, the nerve starts shouting these confused messages up to the brain. That's why you might feel that intense burning, like a false alarm, a fire signal, even if your feet are actually cold. Or the opposite can happen too. You might feel nothing, even if you step on something sharp.
Okay, that makes sense. But I think a big question people have is why the feet? Why does it almost always seem to start there, not the hands or arms?
Yeah, that's a really common question. And it comes down to the ruthless logic of your circulation. Your feet are literally the furthest point from your heart. They're at the very end of this long supply line, you see.
Yeah.
Blood carries oxygen, nutrients, everything those nerves need to stay healthy. But that blood has to fight gravity all the way down there. So when your overall circulation starts to struggle, even a little bit, the feet are the first place to feel it. They get less oxygen, less nutrition. That's why the nerve damage, the pain, the numbness, it almost always shows up there first.
And once that damage starts, it seems to lock people into this really cruel feedback loop, a vicious cycle, as the sources call it. It often starts with pain, right? Just that initial hurt.
Not exactly.
And that pain naturally makes you want to move less. You don't take that walk. You don't stand as much.
Makes perfect sense. Who wants to move when it hurts?
But then, boom, less movement immediately makes your circulation even worse.
Right. The muscles aren't pumping the blood as effectively.
So now, even less oxygen gets to those nerves that are already struggling. And less oxygen means, well, more damage.
Which means more pain.
More pain. You're stuck. It's this downward spiral that just keeps getting deeper, and you literally can't walk your way out of it because walking hurts.
And it gets even trickier when numbness enters the picture. That often starts really subtly, maybe just in the toes. But because those numb nerves aren't sending good information back up to the brain, your brain kind of loses its sense of grounding. It doesn't know precisely where your foot is.
Ah, so that's where the balance problems come in.
Precisely. Your balance suffers dramatically, and that leads to a very real fear of falling, which tragically makes people want to move even less.
Compounding the whole cycle again.
Exactly.
And we absolutely have talked about sleep, or the lack of it.
Oh, definitely. That's huge for neuropathy sufferers.
That burning, that tingling, it just seems to dial itself up to 11 the second you lie down at night, doesn't it?
It really does. It's often worse at rest.
So the pain keeps you awake. You're exhausted the next day. And we all know being exhausted just makes any pain feel 10 times worse.
It absolutely intensifies it. So you get locked in this cycle too. Pain, exhaustion, more pain. And the end result. Your world just starts to shrink. You can't take that trip to see the grandkids. You can't join friends for a walk. Even just getting the mail feels like a huge chore. And that really brings us to the next logical point, why the common treatments just fall short so often. When you look closely at what's usually prescribed, you see they rarely, if ever, actually tackle the root causes, that nerve damage and the poor circulation. Okay, let's start with the most common one, the pain pills. Gabapentin, Lyrica, things like that. They're often the first line of defense. They are. And they work by trying to mask the pain signal. But like our sources point out, they don't fix that frayed electrical wire, do they? They just try to block the message from getting through.
Right. It's like that analogy you used putting tape over the check engine light in your car.
Exactly that. You don't see the warning anymore, but the engine, or in this case the nerve, is still damaged, still deteriorating. And on top of that, these medications often come with a whole host of side effects. We're talking drowsiness, brain fog, dizziness, stomach problems. Sometimes the side effects feel worse than the neuropathy itself,
Yeah, trading one problem for another.
pretty much. And then there's the practice of using certain antidepressants or anti-seizure drugs.
Which I think feels really strange to a lot of people. Taking psychiatric medication for nerve pain in your feet, it sounds off.
It does feel counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And while, yes, sometimes they can help quiet down that nerve chatter, they're still not repairing the physical damage. They're not improving the blood flow the nerves desperately need to heal. Plus, the side effects are still a major concern for many.
Okay, what about physical therapy? That seems like it should help.
Physical therapy is fantastic for improving strength, flexibility, and balance, things that are definitely affected by neuropathy.
But it doesn't fix the nerves themselves. It doesn't fix the underlying nerve damage or the poor circulation. That's the core biological problem. Plus, think about it. If every single step feels like agony, how realistic is it to ask someone to do exercises?
Right. The pain itself becomes a barrier to the treatment that's supposed to help.
Exactly. It's a non-starter for many people in severe pain.
And all those creams and ointments you see advertised everywhere, the ones with menthol or capsaicin.
Ah, yes. They might give you a temporary cooling or warming feeling on the surface. A distraction, basically.
But the problem isn't really on the surface, is it?
No. The damaged nerves we need to reach are deep inside your foot, sometimes inches below the skin. These creams and balms simply can't penetrate that deep. They can't deliver any real lasting therapeutic effect to the nerves themselves. They're just surface noise.
So, okay, pills mask the pain but have side effects. Creams don't go deep enough. PT helps with strength but not the root cause. And it's hard to do when you're in pain. It sounds like we're painting a bleak picture here.
It can feel that way when you're stuck in it. But if we understand the problem, so well-damaged nerves, poor circulation, shouldn't there be a way to actually target those things directly?
Well, that's the encouraging part. The sources clearly show there is a technology, one that's been proven successful in major medical centers for years, specifically for addressing these root causes.
So why isn't everyone using it? Why are we only just hearing about making it accessible now?
That gets into the history of something called NMES. That stands for neuromuscular electrical stimulation. For decades, NMES, which uses specific electrical pulses to wake up nerves and make muscles contract, was basically locked away in hospitals and specialized clinics.
Why was that?
Well, the equipment was huge, like the size of an old microwave oven.
Yeah.
You needed trained technicians to operate it correctly. And it required frequent, time-consuming visits, often 3 times a week.
And expensive, I bet.
Very expensive. We're talking $100, sometimes $200 per session. And insurance. It rarely covered enough sessions to make a real difference for chronic neuropathy, so it was just financially impossible for most people.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, right? Because this NMES, it wasn't some experimental thing.
Not at all.
We're talking about technology used and validated by huge names. The Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins, the Cleveland Clinic. They've used it successfully for years.
That's right.
They saw real results. Less pain, definitely better circulation, feeling coming back in numb areas, even improved balance. The clinical proof was there, the problem was purely access, and that's the breakthrough we're focused on today.
Exactly. The breakthrough is taking that proven medical-grade technology and, through advances in electronics, miniaturizing it, making it simple and affordable enough for home use. The device highlighted in our surface, called NeuroGo, seems to be the first one to really package that hospital-level NMES into something specifically designed to be easy and effective for people to use themselves, at home.
Just think about that shift in convenience. Instead of dragging yourself to a clinic 3 times a week, paying co-pays each time, you're sitting in your favorite armchair, maybe watching the news or reading a book, for just 15 minutes a day. It puts the power back in your hands, literally. Okay, but I want to play devil's advocate for a second. I think for someone who's already dealing with so much pain, the idea of applying electricity, even gentle pulses, might sound, well, a bit scary or uncomfortable. What does it actually feel like, and how do these pulses really work deep down?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
And it's not like getting a shock, definitely not. The sensation is usually described more like a deep rhythmic tingling or pulsing.
Yeah.
It's a specific low-frequency wave, very different from those little 10 and S units that just try to block surface pain. So when you put your feet on the device's mat, it triggers three really critical things simultaneously. And these directly address those root problems we talked about. First, there's the nerve stimulation itself, those nerves that have gone dormant or are sending out those scrambled, faulty pain signals. The pulses gently encourage them to kind of reboot.
It's like jump starting a car battery.
That's a great analogy. It helps wake them up and reminds them how to send those clear, proper signals again, instead of the static and pain signals.
Okay, that's one. What's the second action?
The second is about the muscles. The pulses are specifically calibrated to make the small muscles in your feet and lower legs gently contract and relax over and over, rhythmically.
And what does that do?
That creates this amazing internal pumping action. It physically pushes out the stagnant, deoxygenated blood and fluids that pool in your feet.
Ah, forcing the bad stuff out.
Exactly. And at the same time, it actively pulls fresh, oxygen-rich blood into the area. It's like giving your feet a deep tissue massage, but from the inside out. This directly nourishes those starved nerves and improves circulation in a way no pill or cream ever could.
Okay, nerve stimulation, muscle pumping for circulation. What's the third piece? The third action addresses the long game, retraining your nervous system. By consistently sending these correct, healthy signals through the nerves, you're kind of overwriting the bad signals.
In a way, yes. You're helping to establish and reinforce healthier nerve pathways over time. You're essentially teaching the brain to trust the signals from the feet again. And this is key. Users report that as they use the device consistently, those faulty pain signals, the burning, the tingling, they start to fade. Their baseline pain level actually drops, even when they're not using the device at that moment.
Wow, so it's not just temporary relief while you're using it, it's actually helping things improve long term.
That's the goal and what the evidence suggests.
And these mechanisms, they lead to some pretty incredible real-life changes for people. The sources we looked at shared some really powerful stories, very emotional stuff, like Margaret from Ohio. Her feet burned so badly she hadn't slept through the night in 2 years. 2 years.
Imagine that.
After just 3 weeks of using an NMES device like this regularly, she slept for 6 hours straight. Said she woke up crying because she'd forgotten what real rest even felt like.
That's life-changing right there.
Absolutely. Or Robert from Texas. His foot pain was so bad, he was actually planning to take early retirement. Couldn't handle being on his feet all day for work.
Such a common story, unfortunately.
After 2 months of using the technology, addressing that circulation and nerve damage, he was back working full days, able to put off retirement. He basically got his career back.
Incredible.
And the one that really got me was Susan from Florida. The numbness in her legs and feet was so profound, she couldn't feel her grandkids hugging her legs. Hadn't felt it in years.
Oh, heartbreaking.
She reported that after about 6 weeks, some sensation started returning. And the first time her little granddaughter wrapped her arm around her ankle, she felt it, that pressure, that warmth. She felt that connection again. These are the moments neuropathy just steals.
They really are. So for listeners who are hearing this and thinking, okay, this sounds different, maybe this could work, the sources give a pretty clear timeline of what people might expect. Usually, week 1 is mostly about getting used to the sensation, that tingling or pulsing. But even then, a lot of people report feeling warmth in their feet right away during or after a session.
Which is a good sign, right? It means blood flow is increasing.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the circulation kicking in, starting the healing process immediately.
Okay, so what happens by week 2 or 3?
By then, you should start noticing some real tangible shifts. Maybe that constant burning sensation isn't quite as intense. It might go from, say, an 8 out of 10 down to a 5 or 6, more manageable.
Maybe sleeping a bit better?
Yes, maybe getting an extra hour or 2 of sleep. And your walking might feel a little steadier, a bit more confident, as those nerves start communicating better with your brain.
And then weeks 4 through 6.
That's often when people see more significant changes. A noticeable drop in that day-to-day pain level. Some of that numbness might actually start to reverse, feeling coming back. Balance improves more noticeably.
This is when people might start thinking about doing things they'd given up on.
Exactly. Maybe trying that walk around the block again or standing longer to cook a meal, things like that.
And beyond that, month 3 and onwards.
By month 3, with consistent daily use, the goal is for symptoms to stabilize at that improved level or even continue to gradually get better. It's about maintaining that improved nerve health and circulation. So just to recap why this NMES approach is such a potential game changer. First, it's localized. It works right where the problem is, in your feet and legs, without those systemic side effects you get from pills.
Right, no drowsiness or stomach issues.
Second, it actually reaches deep down to the nerves and works on the circulation problem, unlike creams that just sit on the surface.
And third, maybe most importantly,
It actively treats the underlying physical and electrical issues, the nerve damage, the poor blood flow. It's not just masking symptoms like pills or offering basic support like special socks or shoes. It's therapeutic.
and let's just underline the credibility again. This isn't some wacky alternative thing.
Absolutely not.
This technology, NMES, has over 50 clinical studies backing its effectiveness for neuropathy symptoms. It's recognized by major health institutions like the National Institutes of Health. Physical therapy associations recommend it.
It's established, proven medical science. The breakthrough is simply making it accessible for home use.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now?
It means that frustrating story you've been told, that you just have to live with the pain except losing your mobility, that story might be outdated. The science points to a different path, a path to actively address the root causes, the failing circulation and the damaged nerves that are driving your suffering.
You really do have a choice now. You can keep trying to manage the pain with temporary fixes, things that often have side effects and don't solve the real problem. Or you can try a technology that is scientifically designed to tackle the physical issues head-on. And to make that decision feel safer, the sources confirmed that this home device, the NeuroGo, comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. That's 3 full months.
3 months to try it in your own home, see how it works for your body, measure the relief for yourself, risk-free.
Your feet have carried you through everything in life. Now they're hurting, and they need real, targeted help. The science shows this technology can help. So the question really isn't whether it works. The question is for you. Are you ready to stop just accepting this pain as your new normal? Are you ready to start fighting back, to reclaim your sleep, your mobility, your independence, your joy?
Before you go, I need to share something important with you. Listen, I know you're exhausted, not just from the pain, but from the searching, the hoping, the disappointment. You just want your life back. We get that because we hear it every day from people just like you. Look, I know many of you are here because you're dealing with pain that just won't go away. And if you're one of the millions struggling with neuropathy, you know exactly what I mean. The burning that keeps you up at night, the tingling that makes every step uncertain, the frustration of trying cream after cream, pill after pill with nothing really working. And here's what most people don't understand. Neuropathy happens when the nerves in your feet get damaged. They can't send the right signals to your brain anymore. Those pain signals you're feeling, they're basically your nerves crying for help. The good news is simple. With the right stimulation, those nerves can actually start working right again. We've helped over 50,000 people get their nerves working again using this exact method. And that's why we created NeuroGo. Not just another device, but a complete support system with our Facebook community, diet program, exercise guides, free books, and real people who answer your questions. When other treatments have let you down, NeuroGo delivers the solution you've been searching for, so you can stop managing pain and start living again. You don't have to accept this pain as your new normal. Get 40% off yours today with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Click the link below. You have nothing to lose but the pain.